Hi, we get a lot of calls from people saying, how do we copyright our work? Well, if you recall back to the first video we did on copyright, you remember that copyright is instantaneous. You don't have to do anything to have a copyright protection. It's the moment that the work is recorded in some way. So if that's a photograph of the artwork or the photograph itself, if it's when you write down your song, your composition, or make the sound recording, or you're developing your software, that's the moment copyright happens. What I think they're saying is, how do I actually evidence that my work existed at a particular moment in time, just to prevent anybody else claiming that they created the work before you? There are various methods of doing that. So there's digital time stamping. You can put the work with a solicitor's firm, or you can put it with your bank. That can be an expensive process. One of the better ways, and one of the oldest ways of doing so, is when you record the work in some form, put it on a memory stick if you can, and post that to yourself, to your address by registered post. And when it arrives, don't open it. What you've got there is a third party, the post office, independent witness, verifying that what is in here existed on a particular date. So that's the best way. You can, of course, also, as I said, in the US, there is the Copyright Office that you can register your copyright with. So you could do that, even if you're based in a country outside of the US. The other thing I wanted to say about is copyright notice. You'll have seen it when you see on albums, books, films. It's becoming more important. You don't need to put it on your work, but I think things are changing, and I'll explain. So the copyright notice that you should put on your work, and don't bombard it, but it's important in some ways because you're letting people know that you know your rights. So you see a C in a circle, then the word copyright, your name, or the name of the company, and then you can put the year. I'm not necessarily a fan of putting a year because it dates obviously the work. It might be a piece of work that you're trying to get out to people and seeing it as fresh, and if it's, it's got a 10-year period left on it, then people might question, why hasn't there been any success with that work? So you don't need to put the year, it's up to you on that bit. After that, full stop, this bit is important. All rights reserved and asserted. The importance of that, the way things are changing with AI, there's almost like a presumption that you have to declare that the rights that you have are reserved. You shouldn't have to do that, but anyway, put that on it. And the other one, rights are asserted. There's a right similar to copyright called the moral rights, and there's several of them, but one of them is the right to be identified as the author, the creator of the work. That is not an automatic right. You have to assert it. By putting that bit on your copyright notice, you've done it.